Bro, right now I'm gonna show you an image. Yeah, I think you've seen that. Jolene Cujo. If you're a JoJo fanboy or something like that, you might know her. Or if you just enjoy watching JoJo, you might know her. Yeah. Now, what did you notice in that piece? The head was too big, right? Now, in that one, the body proportions were awful and the anatomy was awful too. So, I'm going to ask of you to learn basic muscular anatomy, at least to the level where Jolene Cujo was drawn on this piece, at least to that level, and then return for this video. Because then I'll be able to help you to my fullest capability. Otherwise, you're going to. Yeah, you get my point, right? Okay, body proportions, basic anatomy, and you'll be back, and then we'll learn. Otherwise, if you do know these two things, that's absolutely great. Let's get into this video. Okay, brother, I'm one among those people who do think that character design is not very easy, but it's still easy. And I'm going to show you what I mean right now. I'm going to show you my past stuff just so that you can have proof that it can be trained. I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm just saying I have improved quite a little bit in at least my very own opinion. Right here is a picture of Boruto for you to critique to oblivion. This was like done in 2020, so mind that. Mind that indeed. This character 2021 and this character I don't really know. These two characters. In my earlier designs, few of them have ticked quite well. Like this one and some other design. Wait, this girl character and this other girl character. Wonder what kind of high school boy I was drawing all of these girls. Makes me so angry. Yeah, but what makes these three different characters cool, while all of my other designs are indeed kind of stupid and bad? At least in that point of time. So this is another one if you want another example. Okay, now imagine removing all the accessories off them. This won't age well because these are girl characters. Let me like give you some other people. There are some creepy people watching everything, so we've got to keep everything kid friendly, bro. Okay, this is like my recent comic book card. Oh, wait, the MC is a girl. What am I doing? Okay, bro. Now, wait. I do believe in you, but there are some people who might be watching this video other than you who are kind of like that. Okay, now think of this man and deconstruct him from the origin. Wait, that may not work so well. Let me like take to a different design. This character, he seems realistic and he's lying on a pile of grass. And this is just a girl character when I didn't really know how to draw. Oh shit. Okay. So this is me designing me. These are other characters. These are even more characters. And more and more and more. Okay. If you're like, enough keeping us in the dark, show us some light. Well, look on the right and left side of the screen. I'm most sure that this image is centered. Otherwise, my editor self will do it. Okay. Over here, on the right side, most presumably, you might see his version colored and another design that I made recently. Yeah, all that's fine and dandy. Easy stuff. This one too. This kind of seemed cool to me, so I thought I'd show you. So, after all of this image showing and all of this bullshit, you may have realized two things. And I'm going to take to articulating them out on paper, as I do usually in my videos. And I'm going to take to doing that on my very own sketchbook, where I'm going to show you my recent designs. Yeah, these aren't the best, but I wouldn't say they are as bad as they could have been. this is like an albatross. That's all. And these are the designs I was making today, earlier. Okay, so now let's actually get into our lesson. Like, bro, you were like so long in there asking us to figure shit out. Now I'm going to tell you what I figured out, bro. If you're like that, well, go ahead and talk about them on YouTube or all that and so on and so forth. Just put that information out somewhere where I can see, most probably. Okay, so there are two ways to design a character. One is character centric, and the other is environment centric. So if you've come here to learn from me character centric designs, then go learn it from somebody else, because I'm not the best guy who would explain this, and there are a plethora of other people who make really good character centric designs. I'm more of an environment centric designer. So what does this mean? Character centric implies the character looks fancy, blah, 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 blah. But all those characters, bro, let me show you like those two girls. I could put them in a slice of life piece, but that's mostly about their potential use cases. Who the hell would want to just be in a slice of life? Nobody. So, if you really want to make good stories, you're going to have to master environment centric designings. I haven't totally mastered this, but I am at a level which I believe is above yours, and I believe that what I'm going to give you is going to help you. So the first thing is beast mimicry. You may have seen Kiba do this, but not for the purposes of designing characters. Kiba would have used it to escape different places. So, what is beast mimicry? Well, it's essentially the following. Our brains, bro, it has this weird idea that different creatures have different features and we should be afraid of certain of them. Although we humans are the apex freaking predator. Now, while I do realize that I sound like a white woman if I say that, although I am brown and I'm not a woman, we humans were supposed to be an apex predator, right? So we know the different looks of different creatures and how to face them, and we have certain fear tactics for them too. I think our shape language comes from that. The idea that sharp edges have something to do with danger may have come from the fact that sharp edges would have represented teeth of dangerous animals in the past. Or that circles are safe mostly because they can't poke you. Like when you like touch them, you couldn't poke them or something like that. So it's mostly like stay away from pointy shit, get close to shit that can be safe. And also, it's like this spectrum between these two shapes that constitutes a lot of shape language. And bro, if we're going to learn from beast mimicry, we might as well just get right into the topic. So I have designed wolves before, and I would expect of you to not expect me to like go back into the lobby and get references and draw them again from start to finish. This is more of a quick sketch just to show you. Okay, when you look at this, what do you think? You think wolf. But when you look at a human who was inspired by a wolf's stature and all of these things, what do you think to yourself? You don't think wolf. You probably think smart guy who's calm, he has leadership qualities, and all of these things, right? Well, why? Because you know for a fact that wolves are leaders. There are lots. You associate him with the alpha wolf. Most probably, if you're thinking about wolves, you think about the best of them. And when you look at a wolf, you think, oh shit, I'm probably going to die if I mess with him. So, That transfers to a design pretty straightforwardly. And hence, if you use beast mimicry in your character designs, you're bound to level up and there's nobody stopping you. See, this character was also inspired by wolves. Look at this shape. You can also be inspired by foxes, you can also be inspired by mythology because they're also inspired by animals. Okay, now let me take to drawing something with you. Like, this is gonna be a very small character design. Since you were talking all of this shape language beast mimicry bullshit, show us how it's applied, you ask. Well, I'm going to show you exactly that now. Okay, so first we just draw a random scribble or a squiggly that leads to a pose. Okay, this is like his base shape. When you're designing a character, you want to think about two things. That is, about not thinking anything and about just drawing. So the thing is, most of the times, when your intuition works this stuff, you're probably going to get better designs. So that's what I'm trying to say here. But at the start, your intuition isn't sharp enough, so it's best to go with the reasoning method, which is basically character centric. Okay, when you're designing a character, you first have to look at one thing, which is their base design. And for the base design, you will go for beast mimicry. What beast am I gonna mimicry here? You've probably seen it. It's a monkey. I'm beast mimicking a monkey for a character. So, what are the traits of a monkey that you would associate with somebody? Something that is moderately smart and not dumb. Something that can reason but also cannot reason too hard or its head might break. And I kind of take the proportions of a monkey and I use it here too. And Mother Nature has answered me. This design looks as if it were a monkey. And now, if I added human characteristics to it, the monkey would start looking more rizzed up. Do you start to get what I'm talking of? And if you stop making it a monkey in the middle of it, nobody bats an eye. And everybody still thinks it's inspired by a monkey. Monkeys have longer noses, so if you keep that, he's going to look like a monkey. Let's have the hair be here. Okay, that was just one shit character. I draw better when I'm in flow. I told you, right? So I can't explain when I'm drawing in flow. So all of this comes together to make a better character. But right now, what you did was the base design. You haven't thought about anything in the character. So, ironically, to become a better character designer, to become a better storyteller in general, you're going to have to learn to write at some point. Or just storyboard, the Hayao Miyazaki way. Wait, let me also teach you what that way is. So this guy called Hayao Miyazaki, he made the movie Boy and the Heron and all that shit, right? Here is how he probably thinks out a story. He explores the concept visually and he works from point A to point B in scenes. He has a question, he wants an answer, and he works on a movie to figure that out. It's as simple as that. You just draw some random shit from point A to point B and you find out a few things. So, what he's essentially doing is he's building his characters in the space and he wants to build them to one day eventually find the answer. And you can take and do this in character designs. You have to build your characters, build them. So you want to know why this guy was pretty stubby, even though we beast mimicred him, and you want to know why these two characters are so lively, at least in my opinion, and why these two characters too look lively. Well, that is one answer. I didn't fucking just reason. I thought of story. You see, when you make a character, you're just thinking, what are they wearing? What are they doing? Blah, 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 and all that bullshit. What you should really be thinking about, if you're thinking at all, is past, present, future. Otherwise, you can go the other way around. You can reason their design later, which is also possible. And that's what you do most of the time when you're in flow. Okay, so here is how stuff works. When you're making a character, you think about past, present, and future. If he has a sword, why does he have a sword? Did he meet someone who gave him that sword? Or is there any guy like Shanks from One Piece who lost their hand to bet on the new generation? Or, well, you have to think all of these things. Environment centric design is essentially very useful if you're making a story because it shows that your character was a somebody before the story even started, which makes your audience more invested in him. Rather than just a nobody who's going to be built up to be a somebody, he could be a somebody built up to be everybody. What you're going to have to think about then is the following. Did he get a scar? Did somebody hit him? Did he work so hard his features look really good? If he is mewing is like the natural position for the human jaw, and you have to be very careful to have sharp angled jaws in places where animals are not addicted to their phones. So, angled jaws and sharp jaws are features that are traditionally masculine and feminine. So, I told you, right? Two shapes exist and everything's like a spectrum between them. Maybe I did not tell you, maybe I'm telling you now. And think of this circle as like the feminine shape. Wait, I'll just put a ball here. And right now, you might not be able to see different things. I told you, right? It works with beast mimicry. And wait, I'm gonna go all in. Wait, like 3, 2, and 1. This part will be time lapsed. Okay, bro. Now the design is done. And this is like the most basicest application of it. Wait, like, let me add. I'm feeling guilty from not putting in enough work. Wait. Okay, right now, if you take a look at this character, he too was inspired by a gorilla. And this guy was inspired by a monkey. He looks so plain, doesn't he? Why does he look this way? Well, as I said earlier, environment centric design, all that bullshit. But mainly, for most of the part, I thought about his past, present, and future. What was he doing? What is he doing? And what could he be doing in the future? So the beard, it signifies a lot of things. Firstly, he likes growing it, and that shows that he has a sense of masculinity within him because you know how a feminine person thinks. Okay, all of that's there, but his main shape is square, and gorillas are mainly made of kind of squares, and this bushy head, it makes his head look bigger than it really is, and gorilla heads are big, and I gave him that. Gorillas have very huge arms, and I'm also giving him that right now because I forgot to. And he wears a diamond in his thing, which may be a souvenir from the past. And he looks like he's overall a party disco type macho guy, right? Yeah, we started with beast mimicry, we applied past, present, and future, and we're going to take to doing more things as well. So think you want your character to be interesting. They went through the most freaking impossible situations possible in humankind. Say he's lived his whole life in the jungle. Then how would you draw the character? Well, there are two ways to thinking approaching this. One by making him tribal, and another by just making sure he doesn't wear anything and he just roams around naked. The two are possibilities. The naked one too is a possibility, and if implemented with other tactics like past, present, and future and all that bullshit, he will turn out to be a pretty fine character. So, the thing about character design is it is important, but it's not as important as writing your characters, which is the third thing I'll be talking about today. But bear with me, we have to go step by step, right? So this part 2 ought to be time lapsed, and you're just going to observe as I do. Wait, let me like just draw his walls and educational purposes. Please do not report me. Ah, now we'll take to drawing the other guy. So future Monish will accompany you with a commentary on this part. What you're seeing here is a rough sketch. Please do not judge me. With these, look at my other works, bro. Right now I'm not in my flow and I'm trying to do a mini flow thing. Okay, let me like make him wear his clothes. Okay, we're back from designing the character, and I am going to make a few inferences today. This day. No. I said I'd design a jungle character and then I designed this guy. See, this is the problem when you let flow take over the show. You know you're gonna get something cool, but you don't know what you're gonna get. You know what? Let me just take his shots off. But he wears something that looks like that. And he's not wearing any shirt. He doesn't wear that Christ thing. Just wears some animal's teeth. Okay. Right now, this could be a jungle character. Jungle specific character. Wait. You're also going to have to think about hair lengths. Because if he's in the jungle, he's probably not going to cut his hair way too much. He won't worry about it unless it's very long. And he might have very bushy eyebrows. Yeah. US, end of story. Your wild character is designed. Yeah, he will have a six pack, that's for sure. Because in that kind of lifestyle, you auto develop it. You have to take a look at chimps, bro. Boys got so much riz and they don't even do anything to achieve it. I wonder what we'd be living, or how we'd be living if we went back to that life. Okay, okay, fine and dandy. Now, this is a character that could be in a jungle, and this is just a rough sketch. He looks pretty tight because he's looking at you, a city boy, and he's never looked at city boys before. And that's how I cope with my immediate sense of, I don't know, whatever. Okay, past, present, and future, we applied them in two scenarios, one in the jungle kid case and the other in a macho man in a party case. And I think you're beginning to see the bigger picture of what could be going on here. I'm pretty sure you are. You're a smart one. So you have gotten the picture, I'd presume. Okay, let me get to the next part, which is the very most important part. If you're drawing for a comic book or anything in freaking general that involves a story, first draw the freaking environments. You see, clothing and physique and all of this is inspired heavily by environments. And let me show you an example of that. Like, I have my previous sketchbooks right with me. YouTube's gonna get me censored, but I'm gonna show it to you anyway. A naked man. Okay, in this picture, you can see that his hands are very long. Why are his hands very long? This is not even a character design, this is a species design. So I'm also teaching you species design now. Be grateful, chump. No, sorry. Bro, species design is the same as character design. You've got to think about past, present, and future and where they've been in for that long. And you're going to have to learn a little bit of natural selection. I can like teach that to you right now as well. So right now, I want you to think about this place they call home. No, not this place they call home. Or just think about a random place. This could be a cyberpunkish world or something like that. Think, what body configuration would that person need? Would they need to digest food? Should I make the intestines bigger? Should I make the stomach bigger in that case? And that is how you modify a human body. If you took an Arcanus's body and you wanted to merge it with a human's thing, you have to design the environment in such a way that an Arcanus would evolve back into a human. No, evolve into a human. One thing could be it's developing culture. Another thing could be something like la la la, wishy-washy shit, a huge alien virus hit this place. So you're beginning to see a bigger picture of how you can design better characters. I'm gonna show you a girl, and surely I'm gonna get demonetized if I ever get monetized in the future. Okay, right now, the girl character, she obviously looks less strong than the man, because male characters, or males in general, in all species, have this hormone called testosterone. And I think it's in most animals. Yeah, in most mammals. If you're drawing a mammal, think about that. The male is the dominant one. Yeah. Those were like the pretty much basics. I taught you the basics of creature design. I'm going to take you to a more extreme as frick example. I'm going to teach you that. In this one, you're going to design the organs yourself, and you're going to work outwards. And you're going to get a lot of horrifying combinations that are going to look pretty sick. And fair warning, if you're going to do this, you're also going to look like a sicko because you made that thing look really sick. Nah, not this sketchbook. Ah, this one. This is not a creature. She's a human being. She's a girl. Okay. Let's get into the actual part where I designed creatures. Think about this. Think about this. What the hell does it look like? Well, it looks like a dolphin and a few other species had babies together, right? Well, that's essentially what you have to make out of these things when you look at them. Okay, you got the gist of these things, and this is like tortoise mole combined. This is just bear. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you. If you haven't drawn animals in the past, just take to drawing them. Don't think too much. Drawing from reference is fun if you're designing characters. I can tell you that. This is a monkey character. I'm going to show you one horrifying creation. A lot of people who looked at this were like flabbergasted. Drum roll. Very cringe sounds. Nah, this is the wrong sketchbook. Screw me, bro. Wait, let me get the right one. This is not the right sketchbook either. This could be the right one. Maybe this was the right one after all. No, this wasn't. Editor Monish, cut this one out. You know what? I probably have that creature scanned, and it's probably in the center of your vision right now. Yeah. So, you're gonna have to think about how a creature would adapt to its environments. Is it so easy out there that they kind of don't need to try anymore? Is it so hard out there that they only can survive by trying? In these two cases, what would happen is that the body would allocate different resources for the different things asked, and thereby you'd have to make the persons look differ that way. This is not only applicable for creatures, but also for humans. Why is somebody muscular? Well, simply because they had to go through a lot of situations that involve strenuous work, as in time in the gym or as in time in the jungle. So characters who are really macho and masculine, they have muscle because they've put in work that shows that. Like, that's very simple. Or characters in the jungle show the same shit too. And that is the basic stuff. Adaptability and past, present, future, and beast mimicry. All of these three things, with these three alone, you can design characters that people will resonate with. But there is one more. That is color. And color is a separate topic of its own, and I wouldn't like to take to doing that here. It deserves its own separate video, man, like really. Instead, I'm going to teach you some other thing. It's called rhythms. Wait, my storage is probably full right now. I'll go clear up and be back. Okay, brother, if you've been in the loop for long enough, you probably know what this picture is and where it comes from. This is the Sonic and Go cast, and this was me trying to master the basics of rhythms and flow in images. I talked about why I did that and all that shit there, so you can go there and watch it. It's actually a pretty interesting video if I do say so myself. Okay, all of these and further. And another interesting thing that I found was that you shouldn't take to simplifying your art style too much, bro. It leads you to characters that are simple and memorable, but you will always lack that feeling of depth in all of your characters. Okay, these were all the basics that I had to give you, and now we're going to get into actually practicing and thinking about rhythms. Let me take my recent most sketchbook for this. I'm not going to draw any character in specific right now, but I'm not going to like draw no characters at all, because just practicing rhythms with some random posing thing, that would be really sad. What I'm going to ask of you is to think that you can finish any pose that you start drawing and start drawing it. Okay. So if I have this character here, it's in almost a way, he points to something. I don't know how to explain this fully, but I can do my best to articulate it, which I will right now. In action sequences, you want to be looking at the fist, right? So you compose with fist as the priority. And that was how Sonic punching that image looks, the one I made. Let me make something else that's also focused on fist punching. So you have to make the whole picture flow towards the fist. If his hands look something like these, and he's looking shit like that. If you're thinking, bro, your foreshortening is good, mine is not, so I cannot do this. Foreshortening takes time to improve. Practice rhythms. Foreshortening will come with it. So, yeah. The simplest way I can define this was what I did previously, but I don't think you'd be able to understand what I'm saying in depth if I just continued using that way. So I'm going to use a little bit more complex terms and stuff like that. Just think this guy is like a street fighter or something like that. Let's like give him a shirt or so. Let's give him afro hair for some reason. Just felt like giving him that. Okay, right now we have a street fighter who is capable of punching down enemies. That's correct. He's wearing sort of like baggy jeans, and let's make him wear sneakers. Okay, this is a really good way to make fun your gesture drawings. That's exactly what I wanted to say. Rhythms are essentially gesture. Okay, I got the word linker. Now I'm going to show you something else. What are you concentrating in this picture? Which this hand, right? How have I made you do that? Well, it's as if the whole thing, the whole image is like going upwards, and even this hand is going upwards, but I've broken the flow in the middle, and that is how you're able to see the hand. You look at things that stand out, see if that helps. And in gesture drawing, there is always this idea that instead of using sharp lines, each shape should point towards something else. Like, think of this weird line in the center of your character and try to use your freehand lines. Should I say curves? Yeah, curves are more apt for this. Use curves to accentuate the posing. Okay. I know all of y'all think foreshortening is very extreme, like the hand is very close to the fist or very far, but you have to think in a medium type sense. When the hand is extending a little bit this way, how does it look in 3D space? If you visualize that in 3D, then everything starts working and pieces start falling in place for foreshortening. Okay, so, rhythms, characters, what do they have to do with each other? Well, what I'm trying to tell you is that even if you are capable of designing very great characters, if you're incapable of using rhythms, they're going to look as dry as ever because they're never going to be put in any interesting situations that involve them in dynamic poses. So, yeah, dynamic posing was one thing that I had to teach you, and that is this line. And make sure your character is aligned in a way that points towards the action. I can only give you the clue here because I myself haven't fully articulated out this idea, though I have fully internalized it. It comes with practice. I'm going to put a video on the screen in the credits, or yeah, that's what it's called, I think. Cards. If you're able to point towards the action, then you can draw a lot better. Like this chef who just flipped a 3 pancake tower up. Okay, all of that fine and dandy, cool. Now what, you ask? Well, now what? Go and draw. That's all. By the way, this was a draw along video. I think Future Monish mentioned that to you. And in the adaptability part, I forgot to mention one thing. So, why would a character be fat? Because they're used to an easy life. Why would a character be strong? They're used to a hard life. You can also flip this in certain situations where the character who's fat actually is fat because of a certain disease and is trying to overcome the fatness. Okay, I think you're able to understand the basics of what we did today, and I hope that you'll take to doing all of this that we talked of. All that I taught you was without using reference, and there is one final step in this video that I would like to do that requires the help of reference. Where was the previous book? Yeah. So this will minimize your use of reference, but this is going to take some time too. You see, before your imagination's trained to know what's believable and what's shit not believable, I forgot the and there. You have to do your own research on different things. For example, this is the peplos and this is the chiton. Yeah, chiton. And these are Greek clothing mechanisms. And if you've learnt about them, you're going to be drawing them better. And by the way, I'll skip 2 pages because they're filled with life drawings. Oh shit. Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah. Because I wanted to show you a few figure drawings. Not because they're particularly special or anything, but because they just show you that you can be rough. You can do whatever the hell you want. And when you're drawing a character, the character has to belong to an environment to feel true to this place. For example, look at this girl in front of the cafe. Oh boy, you think. She looks out and waits for customers, right? And that gives us a sense of character more than her body itself. The action sometimes just matters more than the character, and I think not a lot of people are covering this. And also, I said think like a writer, right? I'm going to show you a few pieces where I actually wrote shit out. It looks kind of messy, and we're going to tear it apart right now. Nah. Okay. I think most of you guys are terrified of references or just don't want to draw from them. If you have that sort of a hate for references, I have one thing to show you. I'll be back, wait. As much as I would like to love to show you that thing that where I talked about references, I'm gonna have to take to doing that in a different video. And when I make that, I promise to put that back here in this video on the cards section. Till then, we're going to have to look at the writing stuff. Okay, all you have to do is just sit down and write stories, and this improves your character skills a ton, more so more than everything else that you could be doing for the same thing. For example, this was the chapter 1 of Yume that I wanted to write out. I understand that it might not be everybody's thing, but if you are an avid reader like me, it could probably help you a lot. I am capable of reading 700-page books, like the one I'm trying to finish. Here, it's been very hard to finish big books, man, but I find the story to be rewarding enough to continue. And that's the basics of it. If your character has a story behind them, like a past, present, and future, that also symbolizes the adventures they went on in the past. Like if he's wearing a Christ symbol on his chest, he's doing so because there is some event that made him religious. You just have to think about general knowledge. It's almost weird that I have to specify these things, but just learn story and your character will start having a story to themselves. All of these are obvious, at least. I'm assuming you know the basic shape language stuff, like masculine, feminine, and danger. Masculine, feminine, and danger. These three things, they look like they're on a different thing. Think of this as like the artistic minded people and business minded people on a spectrum, and think of this as like the Instagram influencer that's influencing the entire generation towards oblivion. Yeah. So pointy shapes, danger; circular shapes, a sense of femininity, everything you'd associate with femininity, like calmness, feeling very deeply, and masculinity. You could think about strength, stability, and all of these things. You could combine this sense of danger with either this or this, or you could make something like a circular triangle, or something like a more pointy square, or something like a rounded square combining masculine with feminine. Told you it's a spectrum, right? So you can use these to create characteristics for your characters. And all of what I taught you today might have helped you improve if you drew along with me. And if you didn't, that's okay too, because you're going to have to rewatch the video and that's going to give me watch time. Yeah. The last step is going to be like a pain in the ass, but you're going to have to do it anyway if your characters are to get any better. That is learning from other people. You looked at the video where I drew Sonic, right? Were you really thinking I was doing that just to practice? No, because I like Sonic and I finished watching the Sonic Prime season and that inspired me to make that. The same way, I watched Hayao Miyazaki and I was inspired and I drew his characters. So think about it like that. Draw characters that you are inspired to draw. Like, say you like Mei and Satsuki from Totoro's My Neighbor Totoro and you want to draw them. Just go ahead and draw them. You're probably going to learn from that as well. Let your flow do the drawing and you do the analysis. Like, look at May and think, what sort of person is she? And do this for every other person you meet in real life too. What sort of a person is she? Or is he? I'm a male, so it sounds weird if I just say, what sort of person is she? Sounds judgmental, right? But I don't give two shits. I always think that way when I look at men and women. Like, if they look gluttonous, they're probably a glutton. Obviously. And yeah, that's mostly it for this video. I think you were able to gain a few things today. If you were, well, congrats, man. Congrats for gaining shit. You learned a few things. Let's just make a summary. And yeah, writing out your character is good. There's this thing called chill out design. It's covered in like iconography. There is just a little bit to go before you finish. Take out your sketchbooks again, bro. We're gonna have to chop at it. When I was talking about shape language, I thought it was blatantly obvious, but since you might be new, I decided you probably need this too. Okay, so the more unique your character's shape outline looks, the easier it's going to be simplify when they're at a distance. So think of this random dude and think of how he'd look viewing him from afar. Think of some random normal human being and think of viewing all of them from afar. In this crowd of people, are you able to identify the characters that matter most to us? Well, if so, then they're probably different from the rest, and that gives us a sense of identification, right? That is iconography. How much can you simplify this character before he turns to oblivion? And it better be not zero. Okay, you can use squares and all of these shapes that we talked about to make better shapes. And by the way, once you've done this enough times, you don't even have to think about it. It enters your psyche and you just start doing it by yourself. And these things like the Loomis method and all of these construction methods, they have helped me quite a bit in the past. And I hope that they will continue to do so in the future. But if you take a look at this character, chill out, let's just draw her chill out. But, oh yeah, Loomis method. Once you've internalized them, you probably will not follow it. You don't have to worry about it. Sometimes just go and look at it again. These are just methods. Look at her character. So she looks like she's a strong woman, and with that hair, I could probably recognize her from a mile away. And if you think about this character, he looks more like a box than everybody else, and the shoulders have this sense of diamondness to them. Okay, that is all there is to this story, and you have learnt all that I have to offer about character designs. And the last part was drawing from references, drawing fan art and all that stuff, right? Draw different cultures, man. Like, not just the ones in random. Just do your research and you'll have a few interests. Like, you like samurais. Draw a shit ton of samurai clothing. Draw kimonos. Draw Japanese women. Draw just if you like Asian culture, yes, do that. Or if you like other places like Colombian culture, draw characters from Encanto, draw other characters too. And that is how we learn. If you like the coastal places, draw coastal characters. Hilly areas, hilly characters. Yeah, that much I can offer to you. If you're drawing, you are thinking like a writer and letting words flow. Only it's not words and it's strokes. I would like to finish the video with that. Hello, brother. Myself Monish, yet again. And right now, I have a little bit more to share with you. This is not affiliated or any shit like that. I just found that this book called How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way helped me out a lot of tons, because the book, it itself has a lot of things you can find on YouTube, but it's the way they teach you. It's quite hard to learn from a book, and you will internalize and keep it in your memory longer than if you just learned from somewhere. It's been proved time and time again that memory is essentially a game of how much effort you took to learn something. It's like in caveman times, this gazelle looks cool, I'm gonna hunt it. If you just looked at that and went away, you won't remember the gazelle you even ate. But you will you will remember your wife who was like left behind at home when you were going for the hunt, because you took some effort to looking at her for a long amount of time. So that's the basic stuff. How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way. That's a great book to start if you want to make comics. And I think a lot of people come here because they want to tell a few stories, animation, anything like that. This is just going from one image to a sequence of images. This book can help you. Because I've read the book, I've used the book, it helps. So this is the book. How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way. by Stan Lee and John Buscema. That's all I had to offer today. Thank you and bye.